I'm gonna do it again because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back, Kevin.
I respect him and I think he is still growing, but Eddie could retire today and be a legend. You understand what I'm saying?
He's reached a level of security and happiness and greatness in his career. Why jeopardize any of that? Eddie, what the are you doing? Get on stage. I don't know, man. Maybe.
Kevin Hart's sitting pretty as one of the biggest names in comedy, but behind all those Netflix deals and sold-out arenas, there's a dirty secret that's about to blow his whole empire apart. And when comedy legends start calling him out for playing the industry game too dirty, you know the truth is finally coming to light. Here's what's got everyone talking. Kevin didn't climb the comedy ladder like everyone else. While real comedians were grinding for decades, getting booed off stages, and slowly earning their stripes, Kevin somehow skipped all that struggle. He went from nobody to superstar faster than anyone in comedy history. And that's got people asking some serious questions.
All lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Katt Williams already dropped the bombshell earlier last year, calling Kevin an industry plant and exposing how he swooped in to steal roles that weren't meant for him. Kevin tried to fire back, but you could see it in his face. He looked shook. And now with Eddie Murphy and other OGs getting ready to speak their truth, Kevin's about to face the kind of heat that could expose everything. Because this isn't just about comedy beef anymore. This is about an industry that manufactures stars instead of letting them earn it. And Kevin Hart might be their biggest success story. So buckle up, because what's about to unfold isn't just going to destroy Kevin Hart's reputation, it's going to expose how Hollywood really creates its golden boys. Kevin Hart might be one of the biggest names in comedy right now, but whispers are getting louder that he didn't earn his spot the way everyone else did. And when those whispers start coming from legends like Eddie Murphy, you know there's some serious truth behind them.
I'm gonna do it again because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage because this new record that Kevin got.
Here's the thing about Kevin that's got the comedy world talking. His rise was suspiciously smooth. While other comedians were grinding for decades, getting booed off stages, and slowly building their fan base one joke at a time, Kevin seemed to skip all that struggle. He went from unknown to household name faster than anyone in comedy history, and that's got people asking questions. The word on the street is that Kevin played the industry game too slick. While real comedians were focused on perfecting their craft, Kevin was busy cozying up to the right executives, making the right connections, and saying yes to all the right opportunities. He figured out early that in Hollywood, it's not always about being the funniest, it's about being the most useful.
You don't find it funny how his stand-up shows had celebrities there? Yeah. First and foremost, he had a backing of celebrities randomly. I'm not saying he didn't create these connections before, but you don't find it kind of peculiar how he was so well connected in the community?
Think about it. How many comedians do you know who went from open mic nights to Netflix specials without paying their dues? Kevin's trajectory doesn't match anyone else's in the game. While Dave Chappelle was getting blackballed for standing on principle, while Katt Williams was fighting the system, Kevin was working with it, and that cooperation paid off big time. When your career is based on who you know, rather than what you can do, you're always one relationship away from losing everything. And right now, Kevin's finding out that the same industry connections that built him up can tear him down just as fast. Eddie Murphy's seen this pattern before. He watched the industry chew up and spit out comedians who thought they were untouchable. The difference is, Eddie earned his stripes the hard way, through pure talent and genuine fan loyalty. Kevin's empire is built on industry favors and executive handshakes, which makes it a lot more fragile than those Netflix deals would suggest.
I respect him and I think he is still growing, but Eddie could retire today and be a legend. You understand what I'm saying?
What's really got the comedy world buzzing is that Kevin's mask is starting to slip. The more pressure he faces, the more obvious it becomes that his success was manufactured rather than earned. And when legends like Eddie start pointing that out publicly, it's not just criticism, it's an industry death sentence.
Kevin Hart needs his Coming to America movie. He needs his Boomerang. He needs his Nutty Professor before he can surpass. You know, Eddie is way up here. The standard is really high.
But the real earthquake came when Katt Williams sat down on Club Shay Shay and dropped the most explosive allegation in comedy history. He didn't just call Kevin Hart fake, he called him an industry plant and backed it up with receipts nobody could argue with. Katt's revelation was surgical in its precision. He laid out Kevin's first year in Los Angeles like a detective presenting evidence.
And in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading. No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person.
Most comedians spend decades grinding, hitting open mics, building material, slowly earning respect. Dave Chappelle worked clubs for years. Chris Rock paid dues on SNL. Eddie Murphy started from the bottom before becoming a movie star. But Kevin Hart? According to Katt's timeline, Kevin rolled into Hollywood and immediately landed both a sitcom deal and Soul Plane. That's not how comedy works unless someone with serious power is pulling strings. The difference between building an audience joke by joke versus getting handed a platform you didn't earn. The timing was perfect. Kevin seemed untouchable with Netflix deals and sold-out arenas. But Katt's allegations hit like a precision strike, making people question everything about Kevin's rise. What made it powerful wasn't just the accusation, it was the specificity. Katt presented a verifiable timeline, asking questions Kevin couldn't answer. But Katt's beef with Kevin goes deeper than just industry plant allegations. It's personal, and it all started with a pattern of Kevin swooping in to steal roles that were meant for Katt Williams. According to Katt's Explosive Club Shay Shay interview, for a 5-year period, every single movie Kevin Hart did was originally offered to Katt first. But here's the kicker. Katt would ask for script revisions to remove what he called step and fetching content, and instead of working with him, studios would take the project straight to Kevin Hart.
You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You f***ed off promo shoots.
The 2008 film Fool's Gold was the perfect example. Katt was supposed to have a role in the movie, but when legal troubles prevented him from filming in Australia, Kevin swooped in to grab the opportunity. It wasn't just bad timing, it was Kevin positioning himself to capitalize on Katt's misfortune. But Fool's Gold was just the beginning. Kevin later admitted on The Breakfast Club that he also got Katt's role in Meet Dave with Eddie Murphy. The pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. Katt would turn down roles because of creative differences, and Kevin would take them exactly as they were written. From Katt's perspective, this wasn't just business competition, it was theft. While Katt was trying to maintain his artistic integrity and push back against stereotypical roles, Kevin was happy to take whatever Hollywood offered him, no questions asked. Katt's accusations about Kevin go way beyond stolen roles. He's calling out an entire system that rewards compliance over talent, and his words hit like a sledgehammer to Hollywood's carefully constructed facade. According to Katt, the entertainment industry operates on a simple principle. They elevate people who will do whatever they're told, while pushing out the real ones who refuse to compromise. Kevin Hart became their perfect poster boy, someone willing to take any role, wear any costume, and say any line as long as the check cleared. Katt's most chilling observation was about the spiritual cost of industry success. He claimed that Satan can't create anything that includes blessings for his people, suggesting that certain types of success come with strings attached that most people don't want to acknowledge. According to Katt, the industry doesn't just corrupt people, it makes them deny their own corruption.
The number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is? What? Is to act like it didn't happen.
This wasn't just about Kevin Hart anymore. Katt was describing a systematic process where talented people get broken down, rebuilt according to industry specifications, and then used to perpetuate the same cycle on the next generation of artists. The people with money and connections have mastered the art of twisting the truth to make their manufactured stars look authentic, while the real ones get labeled as difficult, crazy, or unreliable. But Katt's industry critique led to an even darker revelation, a theory that's been whispered about in comedy circles for years: the idea that successful black male entertainers get pressured into wearing dresses as some kind of twisted initiation ritual. Dave Chappelle had hinted at this before, and now Katt was connecting the dots.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point.
According to this theory, wearing a dress isn't just about comedy. It's about breaking down masculine identity and establishing control over black male performers. The pattern is undeniable when you start looking for it. Almost every major black male comedian has ended up in a dress at some point in their career, usually right around the time they're reaching peak success and maximum leverage in the industry. What makes this theory so disturbing is the timing. These dress moments don't happen randomly. They occur when stars are at their most powerful, as if the industry needs to remind them who's really in charge. Katt suggested that this isn't about comedy or entertainment value. It's about psychological control, about making successful black men participate in their own emasculation as the price of continued success. Dave Chappelle's 2006 Oprah appearance wasn't just an interview, it was a warning about how Hollywood destroys its biggest stars. And his revelations about industry pressure tactics explain exactly what happened to Martin Lawrence and what's happening to Kevin Hart. When Dave walked away from his $50 million Comedy Central deal, the media immediately labeled him crazy. Sound familiar? It's the same playbook they used on Martin Lawrence after his 1996 breakdown, and the same narrative they're building around anyone who challenges the system. Dave revealed the pattern. Stars get pressured right when their careers are about to explode bigger.
I wasn't walking away from the money. I was walking away from the circumstances with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference.
The most disturbing part was Dave's revelation about the medication pressure. When he decided to leave his show, other people were trying to get him to take psychotic medication. Think about that. A successful comedian making rational business decisions, and suddenly everyone's pushing psychiatric Ds. Dave also exposed how the industry manipulates content. Producers wanted sketches that made people laugh at him, not with him. They were systematically trying to turn him into a caricature, the same way they've done with countless other black entertainers. Once you know what to look for, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. And trust me, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Almost every major black male comedian has ended up in a dress at some point, and the timing, always suspiciously perfect. Let's run through the list real quick. Martin Lawrence, Big Mama for multiple movies. Eddie Murphy, the whole Nutty Professor family tree. Jamie Foxx had Wanda on In Living Color. The Wayans brothers went full drag in White Chicks. And don't even get me started on Tyler Perry. That man turned cross-dressing into a billion-dollar empire. But here's the thing that'll make your skin crawl. These dress moments don't just happen randomly. They show up right when these guys have the most power and leverage. It's like Hollywood saying, "Oh, you think you're running things now? Put this on and remember who's really in charge."
I'm gonna try a female character. I was only gonna do it one show in Chicago, the Regal Theater, 79th and Stony Island. I was scared to death the first time I do it. I didn't rehearse with the costume. I never put the costume on. Right. It was me, Brown, and Cora. We all on stage. They're like, "You're not gonna put the costume on?" I'm like, "No." Day of the show, I put it on. Man, I was so crazy uncomfortable. Man.
Tyler Perry's basically the undisputed heavyweight champion of this whole thing. Medea made him rich, sure, but at what cost? You gotta wonder if he's laughing all the way to the bank or crying behind closed doors. The conspiracy folks say this isn't about getting laughs, it's about breaking these men down psychologically, making them participate in tearing down their own image as the price for staying successful. And honestly, when you look at the pattern, it's hard to argue with that theory. Now here's where Kevin Hart's story gets really interesting. This was the guy who seemed to get it, you know? He understood the game and swore he wouldn't play it. Then he went and threw it all away for one Saturday Night Live sketch. Kevin used to preach about boundaries like he was running a masterclass. Know where you draw the line and protect your image, he'd say. The man even turned down a talk show bit where they wanted him to dribble a basketball because he thought it was beneath him. Can you imagine?
But you would know that if what you did was construct the English language for a living, then you would understand that part. Kevin told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? "I made my own decision." Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you?
For years, Kevin was that comedian who wouldn't compromise. He got it. Your image is everything in this business. And once you let people make you look foolish, there's no coming back from that. Then boom, SNL. There's Kevin in a dress playing some 9-year-old girl in a sketch. The internet went absolutely nuclear. Fans felt like they'd been deceived by someone they trusted. This was the same guy who'd been lecturing everyone about maintaining dignity? Kevin's excuse? It was a choice. Oh, and nobody forced other comedians to wear dresses either. Bro, that defense just made it worse. You're basically admitting you knew exactly what you were doing and chose to do it anyway. The timing was chef's kiss perfect from Hollywood's perspective. Kevin had reached that sweet spot where he could make demands and walk away from projects. So they gave him the ultimate test, and he failed harder than a student who didn't study. And here's where we get to the real truth about why Kevin flipped so hard on his principles. Steve Harvey said it best, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something like, "Give me $10 million and I'll embarrass myself all the way to the bank." But wait, it gets even crazier. Orlando Brown dropped a bombshell that nobody's talking about. According to Orlando, when Katt Williams claimed he turned down $50 million 4 times to protect his integrity, well, guess who took that exact same money? Kevin Hart.
He did that.
He did that to say that Kevin Hart took $50 million to unversion his hole.
That's the game right there, folks. Kevin's career absolutely exploded after making those compromises. We're talking about going from successful comedian to the highest paid comedian in the world. Netflix deals, movie franchises, endorsement contracts, the man became a walking ATM machine. The industry calls it the golden ticket, that one moment where you prove you're willing to play ball, and suddenly every door in Hollywood swings wide open. Kevin got his golden ticket by taking the money that Katt refused, and he cashed it in harder than anyone in comedy history. But here's the thing about selling your soul for money. You can't unsell it. Once you've proven you'll do anything for the right price, that becomes your brand forever. But Kevin's willingness to sell out for money became crystal clear when he threw Mo'Nique under the bus. And this story right here, this is where Kevin's true character really shows itself. So here's what went down. Mo'Nique was getting absolutely destroyed by Hollywood's biggest names: Oprah, Tyler Perry, the whole crew. These people were basically trying to end her career because she wouldn't play their games. And Kevin stepped up like family, promising to help her out. Mo'Nique trusted Kevin because they had history. They came up together, supported each other, had that real comedian bond that's supposed to mean something in this business. Kevin even promised to help get her talk show off the ground. But then something interesting happened. Kevin started getting real cozy with the same people who were trying to destroy Mo'Nique. Suddenly he's all buddy-buddy with Oprah and Tyler Perry, showing up at their events, taking their meetings. 2 weeks. That's how long Kevin's loyalty lasted. 2 whole weeks before his manager, Dave Becky, called Mo'Nique to basically say, yeah, Kevin's out.
Endemol says, we just got a call from Kevin Hart's manager, Dave Becky. And Dave Becky said Kevin doesn't want anything to do with Mo'Nique. So whatever she told y'all, he doesn't want to do anything with her, nothing. You know, he doesn't want any kind of relationship with Mo'Nique.
No explanation, no apology, just a cold business decision delivered through a middleman. Mo'Nique waited 2 years for Kevin to follow up on his promises. 2 years of thinking maybe her friend would remember what loyalty meant. But Kevin had already made his choice. He picked the power players over the person who'd been there for him. That's the Kevin Hart business model right there. Promise everything, deliver nothing, and always side with whoever's got the bigger checkbook. The stories about Kevin's questionable business practices aren't just coming from Katt Williams. They're literally everywhere you look in the comedy world. Mo'Nique's betrayal, taking roles that were meant for Katt, accepting deals that others refused on principle, compromising his standards for career advancement. The pattern is crystal clear. Katt Williams doesn't just have opinions about Kevin Hart, he's got documentation, real evidence, dates, names, specific incidents that can't be disputed. That's why Kevin's responses have been so defensive. The comedy community is watching this unfold, and the veterans like Eddie Murphy recognize the patterns. They know the difference between earned success and manufactured stardom. It's no wonder Eddie understands why Kevin is concerned about Katt Williams. When you built your career on controversial decisions, the last person you want scrutinizing you is someone who's been documenting everything. The evidence is mounting, and Kevin's carefully crafted image is facing its biggest challenge yet.